We are gonna do today is just go over more animation features. And let's just kind of quickly go over what's happening. So we have Project Freeze out. So let's check Canvas, what Canvas says on Project Free. So if you go to Canvas, if you go to Project Free here, so the ideation is out, right? Okay, and that was due today. Any questions on that? No? Okay. I see only 6 people submitted. And so far you're a class of 20, so that's not a good sign. So let me enable Project Free actually. Let's move that here. Enable that. The date, yeah, I need to change the date. Let's see what the syllabus says on the date. So that's a good point to check the syllabus. So it says Project Free should be due November 11th. Does that make sense? I think that doesn't make sense. I think we should make it November 18th. So let's change that. I'll need to change the syllabus though later. So let's change Project Free to be due November 18th. Project Free. Edit. And I'm going to remind you what Project Free again is all about. November 18th. Okay. So let's see. So yeah, in Project Free, you are doing animations. So you have to propose 4 user flows, 2 out of which are animation related. Now you can have 4 animation related, doesn't matter, but you have to have at least 2. So at least 2 animation related. Let me just say that. Out of which at least 2 are animation related focused. Okay. And what is animation? Well, we have been covering that for a little bit, so quickly remind you. Here's a demo Project Free. So if you are painting this cubes, you can see they're actually moving, unlike what we had before. Now we have actually also multi-cube, kind of a multi-cube configuration. And we also had like a multi-cylinder configuration. That's what they just pre-designed and added. So another thing, let me see if this actually works here. Does this work if I change this like that? Not sure if that works. So that doesn't work. Okay, so I'm gonna show you, actually it does work. So let's see, if I change it this way. Yeah. Okay, so today we're actually gonna learn about the feature with this demo, which is this kind of changing the animation type as it's playing. So here you can see you can change it to, I don't know, this says it's scale. Doesn't quite look like scale, but let's just go with it. Let's just call it animation type 1. Here's this is like a rotation style. I don't know. It doesn't really look like, it's like a little bit rotation. I can think of it. So that's animation type 2, and here's animation type 3. So let's see. We're gonna see actually now how to do that. How to kind of quickly change between animations using like a selector button like we have here. And what we're also going to see today, if we have enough time, of which I think we should have, is how to create these multi animations, like multi cubes and multi cylinders and so on. Okay, any questions? No? Okay. So And there's like more resources over here. Let's just see what it says here. Well, it just just repeats what I just talked about. There's like a nicer breakdown of all the features. Okay, anyway, so let's go back to our typical scene. We have the let's go back to the sample. So just to remind you, we had this painting scene. Let's just show where we are right now. What's the current state of the art? So we have the ability to paint spheres. We can change their color. We can clear them. We can also, we had like an animation. I think it's called prefab. So we can actually paint like one of these animation kind of pre-designed animations. But if we do that, let's just put the capsule here. You can see that they're not really adaptable to size changes. And they're not adaptable to kind of color changes, transparency or glow. And we can see that also they're not adaptable to, well, rotation and all of that. So we're going to talk about how to actually fix that and see if there's any way we can work around that. Right now, that doesn't work. It does work for these like kind of primitive shapes, but it doesn't work for this kind of fancier animation type shapes. Okay. And we can also, what I also did is I created a new scene. I think I just called it animation scene. So here I have the cylinder. Okay, so right now it has a couple of animations, and let's just go over them. Let's play this. Okay, maybe 2D view. So right now it just has this kind of moving animation, and I can actually change it to have a rotation animation like this. And also I can change it to have this kind of wacky kind of scaling animation. So what's happening is I'm going to talk about how I'm doing it. So if you look at down here, there's like this animator, and it has this cylinder animation, rotation animation, and scale animation. I can actually kind of click each one, and we should be able to see it. Let's see. Can we see it? Let me pause it for a second. So if I click on this, are you going to be able to play? And this. Model, please drag a model. Okay, I can just drag this under here. Okay, so let me just show you these animations again. So I have this rotation animation, scale animation. Again, not super interesting, but it just scales it kind of up and down. And you have this cylinder, just this kind of entry animation, which it just moves it around. You can see it you can see the grid lines here kind of just moving around. So now the question is, how can I kind of move between the animations? So this shape has 3 animations enabled. So what I did here is I kind of added these arrows. So it's conceptually just like arrows. So each animation is kind of these rectangles here. It's kind of like a state. Think of it as like you have a stopping, walking, running, jumping state. And what you want to do, you want to move between the different states. Think as if like in a game or something. So some sort of signal or trigger would kind of get it to start walking, and then it will start maybe from there to start running with some sort of other signal, and then give it another signal, it will just go back to stopping or jumping or whatever. So these are what these kind of arrows do here. This is all in the animator, by the way. If you go to the animation, that's like just gonna show you the whatever you had before, like in terms of like just the just single movement. So the animation window here doesn't really show you the entire picture of the kind of the entire animation. So it just focuses on one animation. So here, this shows you the animator here tab shows you the entire picture. Now, let's maybe I'll delete this and create it again. Okay. Okay. Okay, so right now I only have a single animation that I call it cylinder animation, but maybe let's change its name. It's a translating animation, so it just moves around like this. So let's show you how to actually add these arrows to connect between different kind of animation states. Why would I want to do that? Again, like say you have a couple of different animations, like walking, running, whatever. The Unity has no idea on how to move between one animation to another animation if you don't actually tell it. So this is me showing you how to actually go about and tell it. I did do one thing though. I have there's like this again. If you go again to this animator tab, there's this like if you look, there's like this on the left hand side. There's like a list of all these parameters. So here I have like one parameter called state. I can add another one like by clicking on this plus. For example, I can have it be like say an int, and I can call it like I don't know whatever I want. I can call it stop, and let's just maybe add another state empty. I don't know, and maybe we'll use that later, or like I'll just delete that for now. So right now what I want to do is, and this is basically me telling you how I'm designing my animation app. So if it's 0, it's going to be at this orange kind of state. That's the translating kind of animation where it's just kind of moving around. if it's if it's like in this state, if state is equal to 1, I wanted to move to this rotation animation where it's kind of just rotating. Let me see if I can. Okay, like that. FYI, this is something you should know too. So if any kind of animation you're adding here to this cylinder or whatever object you have, if you want to actually see it, you can actually go to the animation window and you can kind of just click on this. There's like a small arrow pointing down, and you can just select the different animation you want to see. So this is like the scaling animation, and this is like the rotation animation. Any questions so far, by the way? No? Okay. So so what's going to happen is I want to move between one animation and a different animation. And to do that, I am going to use this parameter called state. State is like a variable you have in a script. Like, in a script we had like color, we had like on mouse down, we had all these kind of parameters. So this is just another parameter, and we're actually going to access it in a script later in a second. So if it's 0, I want it to be here. If it's 1, I want it to be here. If it's 2, I want it to be here. So let's see how to do that. So first of all, if it's 0, it's here, and if it's 1, it's here. So I need to get an arrow to go between these two boxes that represent animations. So I'm going to right-click on this. I'm going to click Make Transition and point here. Okay? And then I'm going to also right-click here, click Make Transition, and point back. Okay? So now I have these arrows. So right now these arrows don't have any logic on them. I'm going to add that logic that actually kind of connects these between these two animations and knows how to move between them. So if I'm moving in between this translating animation to this rotation animation with this arrow. See, like it's very important to look at the way the arrow is pointing. So right now the arrow is pointing this way. If I click on this arrow, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add like a condition here. I want the state to be exactly equal to 1 to move there. And as I'm talking, I'm actually change it here. I said state equals 1. And you can see you can select all the parameters here that you defined. You can select it. So there's like a parameter called state here that I defined. But I can also define like another parameter like stop, but I'm not going to use it. I just want to show that you can actually put whatever conditions you want on this transition. So I selected state here. And to move back from rotation here back, I'm going to do, again, I'm going to add a condition. State is exactly equal to 0. Okay, so if it's 1, I'm going to move here. If it's 0, I'm going to move back. Now I have this third animation I'm also going to want to use in this kind of logic. So basically, if the state is 0, it's here. If it's 1, it's here. If it's 2, it's here. So let's add the transition between this start state and the animation, the scale animation, and also back. And now let's like now like it's just blank. These arrows don't have any conditions on them. I need to actually kind of encode that. So let's click on this arrow. Click on plus. So the state has to be exactly equal to 2 to move to this scale animation, and to go back to this original animation. I want it to be exactly 0. State equal to 0. Okay, so it knows how to move. Now, you tell me what should I do to move between this rotation animation and scale animation? What should be the conditions on the arrows here? Remember, this state is 0, here state is 1, here state is 2. What should be the condition here on this arrow? Yeah. Yeah, so if it's 1, it goes there, and how does it know when to go back?
It's equal to 2.
Yeah, if it's equal to 2. Equal to 2. Now, okay, so this is all nice and well. Let's see if it actually works. Let's hit play. Okay, so I can actually change this parameter as we go and see if it works. So let's change this to 1. It's into 2. So 2 works. Cool. Does 1 work? 1 works. And if I click 0, it's going back. Again, let's try it again. 1. So I think I have okay, 1 actually does not work, but 2 does work for some reason. 1 works, so 0 works well. Everyone likes 0, but if I change this to 1, it doesn't work well. Let's see where's the hiccup. Okay, I found the hiccup. So here I have equals. This should actually be equals also. This was greater than. This was like a typo. Okay, let's try this again. See, there's no hiccups. 0, 1 is working, then 2, that's also working, 0, that's also working. Yeah, you can just try it out, see there's no bugs and all of that. Okay, everyone happy? Any questions on this? No? Okay, good. So let's see how to actually access this in a script. So I kind of created this animation sandbox script. It's a new script, and it's not related to our painting script, but it's just separate, just to make it easy to show you what's happening here. I'll click on that. Okay. So this is what I did. I I did the kind of the boilerplate approach here. So what I did first, I added this game object, animated object, basically just to say that I'm working on this cylinder. This is the game object we're working with. Let's kind of click. And I have this animation state tracker, which is basically the state. We can call it state. Doesn't have to be tracker if you want. State. The name doesn't really matter, but I'll just leave it animation state tracker just to differentiate between that and the state parameter that we have here. So I just set it to 0 in the beginning. Now what I did is I added the button. So every time the user clicks the button, I'm adding 1 to the animation state tracker. If that number is above 2, I don't have any more animation states, so I just reset it back to 0. Now all the magic happens here to actually change the animation in your object. What I'm doing, I'm going to call this animator equals animated object dot get component animator. So this basically just retrieves the animator. So how do I even know my object has an animator? Well, if you go look at the cylinder here, it has like all these are all the components that the cylinder has. It even has a capsule collider, which I don't really need right now. Can disable that. You see the animator right here. So what this script does, it just retrieves this in the script here. And then what I'm going to do is, if I want to change its animation, I'm going to do animator.set integer, and then this is basically the name of the parameter I'm changing. So in my case, it's called state. Now, if I have a typo there, if I just say, let's do something like state 2, then this is not going to work. So the name here has to be exactly the same as this name. If not, like, you'll have a bug. So I saw a lot of students that have issues because they are not using exactly the same parameter name. And you can see I get like actually an error here. It says parameter state 2 does not exist. I think even if you capitalize it and you don't have it capitalized, it will yell at you also. Let's check that. Yeah, it does yell at you. So it's really, really important to have exactly whatever capital, non-capital letters you have it here, have it actually match 1 to 1. And let's try that. So yeah, so this button just is an example of how to get it to do that animation state change. And you can see every time I'm clicking this button, this state changes value. Okay, any questions on this? We're all good? Everything good? Okay. So let's try to, again, just for completeness, let's go back to our kind of parent code base, which is like this painting. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to add a tab like we have here in the demo. So in the demo, we have this tab here, which is kind of what it does. It allows the user to switch between animations. So it has like a scale animation, rotation animation. The names don't really match to what it does, but it it just gives you the idea of how to do this pivot. So let's work on implementing this tab, which is exactly kind of it's very similar to what we just did in this other sandbox kind of project. Okay, so the first thing I should probably do is create like a new multi-tab here. So let's do that. So we have here. I have this sphere thing, so maybe I can use that. I already have like a painting shape tab here. Let's see if I can it's a drop down. Okay, maybe I can just kind of push this to be kind of over here, just kind of copy paste using this template. And maybe I'll just make it a bit smaller. And for the options here, I'm gonna right now, what are my options? Let's see, what does this drop down have? Let's call this actually animation drop down. And right now, where the options here are sphere, capsule, and prefab. So I'm gonna change. So the names are not really animation related. So let's just call this anim1, animation, anim2, anim from animation, anim2, and anim3. Okay, and maybe I'll move it a bit. Just try to be a little bit more design friendly, and I'll add like a button just for to explain what this does. Let's kind of see if we can find like some sort of, it can even be a text. Let's just use a text maybe. So right click, 3D object, actually UI, sorry, legacy button, and let's just use this button as some sort of label for this animation label, and move that there. And this is a bit boring, but we should do it once in a while, and just so everyone is on the same page. It's smaller. And move this here. Now, it's kind of important because pretty soon the TA will actually check the niceness of your UI and code and all of that. So it is important for you to pay attention and try to make it look a little bit nicer. And I'm gonna change this to also be animation type. Let's call this type. Okay. Okay, so I think I have the button, I have the label, I should be all good. Maybe I'll just associate these here. So now what we need to do, we need to actually connect this this drop down with our code. So let's open the code. So we have our click manager here. Now what happens is, just to remind you, how do drop downs work? So like right now we have this painting shape drop down, right? So let's just run it and just to remind you how it works. So if you click on it, it basically it's like a discrete choice kind of UI thing. So the first choice will be 0, the second choice will be 1, the third choice will be 2. The code for that is change is here, painting object index. Okay. Let's see where I'm changing that. Here. Okay, so this is basically how I'm how I'm changing the current paintable object. I'm using this function. Let me just double check that that's the way I'm communicating with this, so we don't have any weirdness. Let's see. So painting shape. We have this sphere, painting shape dot drop down. Yes, it's talking to, you can see in runtime only, it's talking to set painting object index. Okay, so let's create a new function. Let's just call this public void set animation type. Okay, and it will just get that drop down index. Okay. So, and let's call this function from that dropdown we just created. So we have this animation dropdown. So here we actually need to find it here, set animation type. Okay. Okay, now you tell me what to do. Everything is connected. How do I get this to change the animation type of my the object I'm drawing? Any ideas? Yeah.
You need to set the variable that you're using in your animator,
Yeah, set the parameter
and you make it equal to
that
IDX.
yeah, that controls the animation in the animator. Right. That's correct. So I need to probably retrieve the animator, right? Okay. How do I retrieve the animator?
Use get component.
Right. So I need to do, yes, so I have like my painting object, right? And I need, let's just write code that doesn't really do anything right now, but just to give you the concept. What I'm gonna do is, this is bad code, it's not full yet, but I'm gonna use get animator, get dot get component, animator, just gonna use animator. That gives that grabs me the animator. Okay, and then I'm just gonna set that what we just said. Yeah, so I can just copy this. State here. Okay, cool. Okay, how do I actually get, so right now my problem is, what is this painting object that I need to grab? And also I need like some sort of animation state tracker, so I need to actually know what state I am. Maybe I don't really, I need to just do, I'm just gonna use the drop down index. Okay, so but how do I grab this? Yeah.
If you have like an array of all the painting objects that's already being tracked.
Yeah, so how do we do it so far in the code? When we do, like, to remind you, when we delete all the objects,
Yeah.
or when when we delete all the object, or we have this kind of loop for each loop that goes over everyone. So I'm just gonna like copy this and see if I can find a way to use this for this animation stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I copy that.
Go,
Let me drop this down here. Okay. Now, my painting object is basically, if it's the current object, so that's basically child transform dot game object. Yeah. So, and I guess this should work. Now, what would happen here? It will probably yell at you here. It will yell at you. it will yell at you if you have, like, say, some sort of object that is not, and it doesn't have an animator, which we have, which we actually have right now in the code. We have objects without animator and we have objects with animator. But let's just see let's see what happens. So let's play. So let's paint. Let's click and see what happens. Okay, it yelled at me really bad. Let's see what it said. It said no animator attached to sphere, blah blah blah. Okay. Okay, that happened because I was painting, like, I had a sphere and then I tried to do this and it yelled at me here somewhere. So let me see if I can do a quick fix. So what happened is, let me explain this. This, I tried to get an animator from a sphere which was not animated, and then it couldn't. So this would be like null or something, and then then you have some sort of null object that you're trying to play around with even more, and that kind of basically it doesn't know what to do. So let me see if I can just do something like if animator is not null. Let's see if this makes it happy. It may be enough to make it happy. I'm not sure. Maybe not, maybe yes. With these things, you're never really sure. Okay, so I have all my spheres. Let's add this prefab. Okay, and let's change the animation state. Okay, so it didn't yell at me that bad. It just said parameter state does not exist. Why doesn't it exist? I just did so much work on it, right? So what's the problem? Yeah.
Was that on a different?
Yeah, so it's another. Yeah, so it's basically this cube it doesn't have any idea what its state is. It doesn't have. It only has one animation. So let's actually bring this kind of cylinder into the loop, into the picture here. Where's our cylinder? Actually, it's in a different project. So if you go to scenes, animation, I have a cylinder here. Let's see if I can just save it maybe here. Save it here. And then let's see if I can just drag this from here. I just drag this to here, and let me see if I can, when I go back to this other scene, I can drag it back. Save. So I have my click manager, blah blah blah, and let's. Right now I have this animated cube. Let's just swap that with the cylinder. Where's the cylinder? Assets, prefab. Okay. And let's see what happens. So I can paint. Okay, cool. I have my spheres. So far nothing exploded. Let's paint this. So I can paint this cylinder. There's a bug, but I am able to change this animation type, and I can just destroy it for now. But let me just paint it again and show you. So I have one cylinder, and I am able, and it's working, and that's fine. So that's good. I can actually change its color too. That's cool. But what the problem is, what's the problem? I cannot paint it anywhere else. Remember we had this problem last time. What did we do to fix it? How did we set, so let me again repeat what the problem is. So if you have like an object that uses an animation, and that animation is changing the object's position. Now, and when you're painting, you're also gonna, in your script, you're also gonna actually try to change the object's position. So two kind of components are fighting on the object's position, your script and the Unity animator. In this case, the Unity animator will always win. So I cannot really paint more here, more like I have to kind of, every time I click, it just adds these cylinders in this like silly location, which is horrible and it doesn't really help me. For some reason, with the cube, this cube that I had added previously, it's not happening. Let's show you. So I actually I am able to paint this cube in different spots. Why is that? Yeah.
You're not setting the transform of the cube itself. You're setting the transform of its parent.
No, but you're kind of along the solution. So it's not happening with the cube. If you go to the cube here, it's not happening with the cube because if you look at the animations I have right now with my cube, I'm only changing its rotation and scale. I'm actually not changing its position. But what you're saying is the kind of part of the solution. So what he's saying is basically we don't really have to use the animation object as is directly. There's like a hack here, a way around this problem. Let's go back to our where's that other scene? Okay, animation scene. Let's save this for a second. Yes. So we have our cylinder here. It's animating and all of that. That's fun. But what I'm gonna do is instead of like actually directly use a cylinder, I'm just gonna attach it to some sort of parent. I'm just gonna call it. Let's call this. Let's try to be a bit funny. First of all, let's make an empty, and let's call this the cylinder parent. Okay. Parent. Okay. Now I'm going to drag this cylinder inside to be a child of this cylinder parent. I got a typo here. Cylinder parent. Okay. Now everything should still work. Let's see. Well, it does work. It just like had like a small change of coordinates, but yeah, it does work. Okay. And I don't know why it's so far. Let's just make this 0, 0, 0. This empty for some reason is really out there. So yeah, so this is what I did. So I did all the work already. So what I did is I attached this guy to a cylinder parent. Now, let's see if this hack works. So if I go to my scripts, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to when I'm painting, I'm not going to paint the cylinder. I'm going to paint these cylinder parents. The idea here is that the position of the cylinder parent is not changing. There's no animation on it. There's only animation on one of its kids, its cylinder. So because there's no transform animator kind of working on the cylinder parent, hypothetically, I should be okay to just paint these cylinder parents wherever I want, because there's nothing to fight with me on that specific component. So let's see if I can save that. So let's save the cylinder parent here. Now it looks exactly the same, right? There's nothing could tell you it's any different. It is going to cause other problems. I'll show you in a second, but let's just keep it this way in a second and see if that actually fixes our problem. So let's go back to our scene. painting scene. Okay, and let's see if we can drag that cylinder parent. Click manager and cylinder parent. Where's the cylinder parent? It's prefab. Cylinder parent goes here. Okay, and let's see if this works. Did this solve the problem? I think I'm gonna introduce also other problems, but let's see. So I can paint my spheres, that's fine. I can actually paint the cylinder parents, that's great. But I think there's gonna be another issue now, let's see. If I change the animation type, nothing is happening. Why is that? Yeah.
The animator is on the cylinder child of the parent. And
Right.
you're trying to access the parent directly.
Right. So what's happening is this cylinder doesn't. I'm painting these cylinder parents, and when I'm doing this kind of drop down, it is trying to access basically the cylinder parent's animator. Cylinder parent doesn't have an animator. The cylinder child has an animator. You can see it here. If I click on this, there's no animator guy here. It only exists on its child over here. Here's the animator. So what we need to do, we need to be kind of go around the bush here and we need to kind of get this somehow to work on all the children. So I would do something like, well, what would you do?
Could you keep the if animator is not equal to null and then do an else statement where you get the child animator if the animator is equal to null?
Yeah.
Do the same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't break the cube.
Yeah, I can do it that way. Can you just tell me what code would you use just to?
You just go like else where your cursor is now.
Yeah.
Go like animator equals painting object dot child, I think, because there's only one.
So what you would do actually? So what you would do? You would have to.
Go child transform.
You would have to do this again, kind of top level here.
Yeah. Well, there's only the one child in each of the things. I don't know if you. I mean, if you have multiple children, you'd need to do it for each.
Yeah. So let's just try to use this again and think how to make it pretty. So okay.
Go like child transforming, child transforming.
Yeah. I don't. So else. I think we don't even need else. We just need to call for each again. For each.
Oh yeah, you could just do it regardless.
Yeah. And then for each in child transform, and this will be child transform, and then do this stuff. Yeah. Now this is like a hacky way that will work. And I'll show you a better way around it. So you have these. So what's happening here? We have one loop that loops over all the painting objects. Let's just change the name here. Let's just call this top level painting objects. Okay. So basically, all the guys that are kind of top level, they all are themselves the main objects. And then we have another loop kind of going over all the child painting objects. So let's just call this child painting objects. Now this is not good code. Yeah, I have a couple of issues here that I need to fix. So this is child painting objects, child painting object, blah blah blah. See that it can get really buggy here if you're not careful. Uh, but I think we did a good job. I think this will work. Okay, let's save this. But there's more things that will break. I'll show you in a second. Now let's click play. Oh, I have an error somewhere, of course. Yes, yes. I forgot like one of these curly brackets here. Okay.
Oh, the material.
Yeah, so we're trying to get the material to change here, but because we have this new kind of object with a parent and all of that, then it basically kind of gets it broken here. We can fix that actually not too badly. We can just but the problem is like the empty doesn't have a render. That's the problem. So what we should do here is just add like a if or something here. If something like that. That's not a good fix though, but you know it should avoid that null. We also have this kind of, it will also kind of wreak havoc in our code everywhere now because we have an empty that doesn't have any kind of physical kind of color or material and all of that. So it will kind of really annoy the code in other places too. So okay, so are we stuck? What do we do? This doesn't work.